Hello and welcome to the June 2026 Stamp Your Stash Inspiration video. Our theme this month is Patriotic and Summer Fun. Keep in mind we're working a month ahead all year long, so in June we'll have things ready to send out in July. So things like patriotic, flags, stars and stripes, eagles, daisies, grilling, swimming, picnics, watermelon, lemonade, popsicles, sun, zoo animals, and bright colors. If you haven't heard of Stamp Your Stash, stick around to the end. I will put a link to my introduction video at the end so that you can check that out if you want more details. So stick around, I'll show you the stamp sets that I pulled from my stash and the cards that I made with them. This month, I really didn't come up with a lot of things in my stash that were patriotic, kind of thinking about the 4th of July, things like that. But I had a lot of kind of summery vibe stamp sets, and this was one of them, Hot Air Balloon from Stampin' Up. And I made a little birthday card with that. One of the hot air balloons that you stamp and one that you just die cut out and use the sentiment from that. Now you'll notice throughout my cards this month, a lot of them, I really kind of stuck with the same layout. I used an embossing folder for the background and then this stitched rectangle and scallop die. These are from Unity Stamp Company. I love them. They have a couple different sizes in the set. It's a nesting die set that coordinate. I kind of stuck with them. I try to always say, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you make a card. If you find kind of a formula that works well for you, stick with it. And it really made it pretty quick to go through and make all of these cards for this month. So there is the first one. The second one, popsicles, was on my list of ideas for the month because kind of thinking about summertime. And I don't have any popsicles, but I do have this share a milkshake, so thinking about ice cream, eating ice cream during the hot summer months. So I made a little celebrate card. This could be used for a lot of different things, pretty much any occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, congratulations to somebody. Again, using that same kind of formula with the embossing folder and the stitched rectangle and scallop die for the background. Okay. The next set, I really thought things like lemonade, something refreshing like that for summertime. I have this sweet citrus stamp set. It actually is stamp, die, and coordinating embossing folder from Stampin' Up. And I really only used the stamps and dies, and I made a zesty birthday card. Stamped and die cut some of those lemons. Just tried to keep it kind of a fun, fresh, bright color for summer. Have a zesty birthday, and again, same formula here with the embossing folder and the nesting dies for the background. Okay, and watermelon. That's just kind of something you always think of for summertime. I personally don't eat watermelon, but my one grandma absolutely loved it. She could buy it and eat a whole watermelon by herself. She just always had that in the summer. So this set really makes me think of her, this Watercolor Melon from Stampin' Up. And I made this little hello card. And because this doesn't have coordinating dies, I did fussy cut out my little slices of watermelon, but that was really easy to do. Excuse me, very straight cuts. And for this, the rectangle and scallop, I actually used a Tailored Expressions mini slim die for that. So this is, obviously a mini slim size card, not your regular A2 size card. And zoo animals was one of the themes I had on the list for this month because, a lot of times in the summer you might be traveling and going to the zoos in different areas and different towns. So for this stamp set, I used Look Who's Turning. It's a 2-step stamp from Stampin' Up. And it's Look Who's Turning, and then you can use the numbers for, like a child's birthday, but I chose to just use the happy birthday sentiment and the animals out of it. And I made this bright, fun little birthday card. Okay, and let's see, the next one is called Wonderful Watercolors. This again is a two-step stamp from Stampin' Up. It's in a huge box and it's really only these stamps down here, but you can stamp the outline of the flowers and then use a different color to fill in the colored part. And that's what I did. Let me set this to the side. I made this little I'm here for you card. Again, used a mini slim die, and I used the die for the background and then used an embossing folder to give it some texture. This is that stamp set. I stamped in black for the outline, and then Old Olive and I think crushed curry for the petals. And then just add a little twine and a tiny little sentiment. And last but not least, this is probably my absolute favorite, and it really has sentimental value for me. This was my very, very first stamp set ever. My first from Stampin' Up, my first from anywhere. My mom and I got invited to a Stampin' Up party back in, I think it was 94. This stamp set has 1995 on it, but I believe it was maybe 95. So 94, 95, somewhere in there. And I absolutely loved it. You know, it was one of the parties where you learn about the products and then you get to do some make and takes. I remember making a little, like a little bookmark for sure. I can't remember if we made anything else, but I was allowed to go ahead and pick a stamp set. My mom bought me a stamp set, and I got these little crows that are on a picnic. So the two little, you know, the man and woman crow on a little picnic blanket. There's a piece of fence, wood fence with some sunflowers, and then their picnic basket with some food in it. And then I believe this came as a separate kind of add-on. I honestly can't remember for sure. And this is just a random box that I put these in, but there's, you know, a slice of watermelon, a little muffin, a bottle of soda, couple ants, or ant and a ladybug, and some just different little things you can add on to their picnic. So I've been saving this until this month because I knew that I was gonna want to do, you know, kind of a picnic summer theme. And again, I've kept this all these years, you know, probably 31 years at this point, and has sentimental value to me. So I am definitely not ever going to get rid of that one. But I made this cute little hello card with the crows on there. Again, no coordinating dies, so I decided just to use one of those stitched rectangles for the background. I did fussy cut the picnic basket and that slice of watermelon, again, you know, featuring watermelon for summer. And then I used a die that was just this hello. And this is another Unity Stamp Company, the big, kind of that big loopy scallop border. And I just love it. And then I used a designer series paper from Stampin' Up that recently came out. I thought that kind of looked, you know, went along with the picnic. It's not the traditional red and white, but I liked that blue and white, and then kind of colored them to match. So those are my June 2026 Stamp Your Stash inspiration videos. I really hope that you got some ideas, some things that you can use, maybe some of the techniques or some of the formulas, maybe an idea of a theme to, you know, just kind of go dig into your stash, whether it's a new stamp set that you have or something that you've had for 20 years and maybe have never used. I hope you pull those out and make a couple cards. If you do, I would love to see what you're creating, and if you share them on social media, please make sure you tag me at Leah Faye Handmade. I would love to see what it is that you're working on. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.